Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Keezy Styles, and today I got another video. It's going to be quick, simple, and easy. You will get it. Just keep watching. Alright, so what I actually just want to tell you in this video, it's going to be, like I said, it's easy. I'm just showing you how to do Bantu knots. Bantu knots is a quick and easy style. Should not take you no longer than a half hour to an hour to achieve the style. Just want to come and just let you know the products that I'm going to be using this time will be, I actually have a oil that I customized myself that I'm going to be using today to help seal moisture. And I have a leave-in detangler that I also made myself that I'm actually going to use today. Another product that I am going to use is a mousse. I just picked any mousse. This mousse is going to work perfect for the mannequin. I don't need a expensive mousse when it comes to using it on the mannequins. We'll start with this and I'll meet you in the next clip. All right, before we actually start our Bantu knots, we want to just start by detangling the hair. You always want to make sure before you start any style that you're just making sure that all the tangles and all the kinks are out of the hair. Don't want to wait till the last minute to try to detangle when you can detangle before you actually start. Now, like I mentioned before, we're doing a quick and easy style. The style is called Bantu knots. You might be familiar with it, you might not. But if you do not know what I'm talking about, just keep watching and you will find out. The way I like to do my Bantu knots, I section from ear to ear just to make sure that I have more control with the hair. Like I mentioned, just section from ear to ear. And what you might want to make sure that you have is some clips. And always make sure that you have clips. And onto this side, I'll just go ahead and just finish that part from ear to ear. And then you just make sure that you secure the rest of the hair with the clip. All right. Actually just join these together just so it makes it a little easier. All right. Now that you have it sectioned from ear to ear, makes it easier for you to be able to work with. You want to start by using your detangler. You can use a detangler because it makes it a whole lot easier for you. Like I always mention in my other styles, you want to just start that over. You want to just start by, just detangling the hair. Run that product in the hair. All right, and because we're doing Bantu knots, I just want to show you how to do them the easiest way. And what I say, I would pretty much just go ahead and, it's kind of hard for me to part and go around the mannequin at the same time. I do apologize, but you want to just part a decent amount of section in the back. I want them to be more medium, so that you guys can be able to get a better look and see how it's actually done. So just take your remaining hair and you want to just like clip it up. Now if the hair tends to get a little dry, you can spray your products on, or you can either wet the hair. This is an oil that I actually created. And I'll go ahead and just apply just a little bit of oil. What I'll do, I'll apply the oil on my hand and then I'll work it in that way. And you want to just work that oil in your hair. You don't want to ever just put a whole glob of oil or product in the hair. It will show. It's not a good thing. All right, so because I'm actually doing the medium ones, I'm just going to make this into two, just so that you can be able to see it a little clearer. What I'll do, I'll use one of my little comb palms to actually just hold this other piece of hair out of the way. It's a mannequin, she don't mind what I'm doing, so we're okay. All right, and then if you need any more product, any oil or anything, just go ahead and just apply it in. And then another thing that I would say do, you want to use a mousse so that you can make sure after you take the Bantu knots out that they look pretty good. Don't need too much product, just start with a little. Little goes a long way. All right, so starting this first one, you never want to start a Bantu knot out with a rubber band. I always hold it on my 2 fingers while I'm actually twisting, but you never want to actually start out putting a rubber band on your Bantu knots. That will cause irritation, it'll cause breakage. You just don't want to do it. It's a no-no, don't do it. So what I would recommend you actually do is to start at the roots and twist right at the roots. So if you can actually twist, just twist all the way down to the bottom. Or if you're like me and you're experienced in doing them, you can actually stop here. Then what you'll do, you'll start twirling it around to actually create a donut. I always say it creates a donut. But just actually keep twisting. And if you need to, like what I do, I'll actually like wrap with one hand, and then the other hand I'll use to hold the Bantu knot in place. But you want to make sure that you have that twisted all the way down to the end, because if you do not, it will not create an even curl, and you'll be able to see that. Now, after I'm done, I like to just hold the remaining parts of the hair with a rubber band. And there, as you see, it actually held it in place. All right, now what we'll do, we'll go ahead and do the next one. And as I mentioned before, you always want to just detangle. The mannequin hair is pretty dry, so don't hurt to add more product. Then what you want to do, you want to just comb it in, just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. And like I mentioned before, you never want to start a Bantu knot with a rubber band. It will cause breakage. You use that rubber band, you can hold it in between those 2 fingers, and from there you want to just start twisting at the roots. Twist, 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 and if you're like me, you can stop here and start actually twisting it around. But one thing, like I mentioned, you want to make sure that one hand is steady and one hand controls the movement of the Bantu knot. As you twist, you want to make sure that you're constantly twisting around. You want to make sure that each Bantu knot comes out even. And then what you want to do with the end, just keep twisting. Twist till you no longer have any more hair to wrap around, and then you secure with a rubber band. Okay? If you feel like that one rubber band is going to make it come out, you can always secure again with one more. Just bring this rubber band up a little more so it's not directly on the base of your scalp, because that again will cause breakage. All right, now what we'll do, we'll go down to our next row. And again, like mentioned before, just want to follow what you did with the first row. I used almost like 2 inches of parting in between each section, just to make sure that you'll be able to actually see the difference. All right. So because this is a new section, you want to do what we did before. You want to start with a moisturizer, a detangler, whatever you need to help make the hair a little more manageable. I'm also going to go ahead and apply the oil And you only need just a little. A little goes a long way. Just make sure when you're applying product, you're emulsifying that product in your hand to avoid a big gulp of product in one spot. All right, and then another thing you're going to also use is mousse. I like mousse because it holds as a barrier for the Bantu knots, and it makes it easier for the curl to actually to go into the hair after you take them out. So I always use mousse, but I use that oil and I use a detangler, like a moisturizer, so that it doesn't make them too crunchy, but it makes sure that you'll have an even curl. Now, because this section is a little wider than the other one, instead of me making 2, I'm actually going to make 3. And one thing that I like to do with my Bantu knots, I like to bricklay them. Bricklay mean each part will not be matched up with the previous parting. So I'll be in between the sections. So if this being my first section, it'll be angled right in the middle of that first Bantu knot. It just give it a more, you know, like a different look to it. And like I mentioned before, you want to just grab your rubber band ahead of time. I like to grab mine ahead of time just to make sure that I'm not bending my body all the way around, to make sure that I have the rubber band after I already started. We'll actually make this section just a little bigger. That Bantu knot was going to be so much smaller than the first one. So what you do then is just smidge out like a 1/2 inch. One thing about the Bantu knots, the more knots that you create, the more of a wave you will have. The least you put in, the least amount of wave that you'll have to worry about. Well, I wouldn't even say wave. I would say more like the fullness. It wouldn't be so full. All right, so what we'll do, we'll start here. And I'll clip that off to the side. I'll actually spin this closer so that you guys can actually see it a little closer. And then from here, just going to go ahead and put my moisturizer back on it. Get a little mousse in it. And like I mentioned before, do not ever put a rubber band at the root. That will cause breakage. Just start by twisting. Just twist halfway down the strand. If you want and you feel comfortable, you could twist all the way down. But I feel like that helps release tension from the scalp if you do that. And then I always secure with one hand and wrap with the other. Now be mindful, as you're wrapping with the other hand, you want to make sure that you're kind of twirling the ends of the hair so that everything comes out nice and even. And then, like I mentioned before, the rest of, you know, the little strand that you have left over, you want to then just secure it with a rubber band. Now, do not get too crazy with putting a rubber band on the roots. If you make it too tight, you twine the rubber band too much, it will cause breakage. You don't want that. Main thing that you want to do, you want to make sure that everything is nice and even. Bantu knots out. While they're in, you want them to actually act as a style. All right. Then we'll go ahead and we'll part again. So instead of me going right down with the center part, I'm going to actually angle it off just a little further over left. All right. And again, we'll just go ahead and make sure that we have a rubber band handy. And from here, you want to just go ahead and twist at the roots. You don't have to go all the way down the hair strand before you actually start twisting around to create a donut, but whatever works for you, let it work for you. Now, one thing you want to do to create neatness, hold on with your opposite hand and twist. Has to be kind of the same motion or you'll lose tension. But keep twisting and spinning the hair around the knot. Then after that, you want to make sure that you just have a rubber band or a hair tie, whatever works for you. You can even use a bobby pin. You can use a scrunchie, whatever works for you. And you want to just make sure that you secure the ends. And what we'll do, I'll go ahead and show you another one. Turn that way. And from here, same concept. You want to just start by twisting at the roots. Twist, 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 twist. And then you want to start by just twisting around just to create a little donut. Make sure that your left hand is always working with your right to make sure that everything sits as neat as possible and as close to the scalp without hurting your client. Just keep twisting that right hand and use your left hand to actually make sure that everything stays nice and smooth. And you want to grab that rubber band and you want to just make sure that from here you secure the ends. Now, what I'm actually going to do now, I'm going to speed the video up just so that you guys can see a better look on how I actually finish. And in the next clip, I will see you. All right, so in that video I actually did not finish because I'm actually short on time. If you need help with anything else, or you need me to go one-on-one with you or show you a more detailed video, you can always just comment below. You can subscribe, you can, you know, just let me know. You can follow my Facebook, you can follow the Instagram if you want to. Use your way of contacting me to help you, okay? And in the next video, I will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in and watching Keezy Styles. And we'll see you next time.